TIFU by calling a girl fat. I, 35M, didn't actually use that word, but we all know it doesn't matter. I ended a 5-year relationship in January of this year. I started using dating apps in May, and by July started seeing someone pretty regularly. In our first State of the Union talk, we both agreed to a casual dynamic with open communication, even though neither of us were interested in seeing other people, and during this talk both admitted to not having used the apps since we first met. I thought things were going well until the last couple of weeks when we hadn't seen or spoken to each other much. We finally got on the phone last night, and apparently a few weeks ago, I had dove too deep into my previous relationship during dinner conversation. That didn't sit well with her, and she thought I still had feelings for my ex. I explained that I didn't, which is the truth, and that while I had agreed to the casual dynamic, I was actually genuinely falling for her and just didn't say anything, thinking it would betray our agreement or scare her away. Well, her feelings about my perceived attachment to my ex had been marinating too long to come back from, and she wanted to break things off entirely, thinking I wasn't ready for the next step. After explaining my side, I was just being nice and showing concern for the well-being of a person I used to share a life with, but have absolutely no lingering attachment to. She did feel bad for not asking about it sooner, and it seemed like maybe if I just left it there, she might think about it for a few days and want to talk more. I was pretty disappointed, and as the call was winding down, and in the spirit of open communication suggested we say anything we wished we had said earlier. Looking back on it now, I still cannot believe I said this. And there's zero justification for it. But I made a comment about her weight. She had just started going to the gym again, and I said I had been looking forward to the transformation. She doesn't need to lose any weight. And when she brought it up weeks ago, I said she already looked great and that I was already very physically attracted to her. I think that's why I said it. I maybe meant something along the lines of, "Your body is great, and I'm attracted to it, and I would only be more attracted to it if—" My God, what an asshole I am. Naturally, she got very upset and ended the call, forcing back sobs. I texted her right after apologizing profusely and sincerely. I'm horrified with my behavior and have never felt hate. Story 2, TIFU, by using Tinder in Colombia. This happened last night, and I want to share because my mind is off. I'm currently in Medellin, Colombia as my first stop before seeing the rest of the country. I was stupidly on Tinder, as I do with most countries I visit, and began swiping. I eventually matched with this beautiful girl. We'll call her Jimena, because that's her real name. We talked for a few and agreed to arrange a date, and she'll show me around town. The date went well. She showed me all the Pablo Escobar sites, and we got some really good food. We eventually went back to my hotel, and I could tell she was down. I grabbed us some drinks, she got us some weed, and we were having a nice, relaxing night. We talked a lot about our childhoods and past, and we're having sex in between these talks. Literally just two people opening the story of their life to each other. It was really memorable and emotional. It was now pretty late, around 4 a.m., and we just kept talking. She asked me if she could be honest, and I said, "Yeah, what's up?" She mentioned her original intention in coming here was to use a drug on me, which I found out was scopolamine, aka devil's breath. This drug is pretty nasty. It will turn you into a submissive zombie that follows orders for 24 hours, and could easily overdose and kill you. Seriously, look it up. She wanted to use it and empty my bank accounts and rob me. But after spending all day with me, she realized I'm a genuinely good person, and decided against it. I was so taken back. My fight-or-flight response immediately activated, and I kicked her out the room. She started crying, but I honestly didn't care. By that point, I literally could have lost my life last night. I called the Colombian cops and gave them her picture and name, but they didn't do anything, which was pretty expected. It's now day 2, and I decided to move to a hostel in order to meet other tourists and stick with them so we can all keep each other safe. I deleted Tinder, and I'm just pondering the whole thing. I'm making this write-up in case anyone has plans to visit Colombia, and to also try to clear my head. Story 3. TIFU by looking through my GF's liked TikToks. So me and my GF were in class together on break, and she tells me to watch one of her TikToks. I put my phone down and watch some Harry Potter edit on her phone, then I take it and start scrolling down. For some context, we had gotten into a huge fight around 2 days ago, which ended in her hitting me, screaming at me, calling me names, then slamming the door. I didn't talk to her for a day or so, then we made up that morning. As I was scrolling through her TikToks, I come across a video of just two people having a text convo, and the issue they're having is something I directly struggle with in the relationship, let's say communicating my feelings. I sat there scrolling through the slideshow and eventually swiped to the next video, Same thing. Another text convo slideshow. Another issue I was causing in the relationship. I ended up scrolling through 15 of those in a row and finally landed on a video that hit me like a truck. It was captioned, "Me explaining to people that girls often break up and end the relationship with their partner way before they actually end the relationship." Now this hit me hard because for the past 3 or 4 months or so we had been arguing constantly. I won't really get into details. Most of those arguments she has said something like, "So do you just want to break up with me then?" Which has led me to believe this relationship has been over for the past 3, 4 months. She just hasn't had the courage to break up with me yet. And she still says she loves me even though she's already over it. We're on better terms now and things are going great, but I have this feeling in the back of my mind that this relationship, ever since 3, 4 months ago, has just been fake. It's been a lie because she basically ended it and hasn't told me yet. I just feel betrayed. Story 4. TIFU by extracting some lady's fancy lacy panties out of my pants leg. So I'm at a conference, arrive the night before, have a few drinks, bullshit with some folks, and crash out, sleep a little late, and wake up at 8:18 a.m. Thing is, I have to meet a few senior exec PPL from a very well-known consumer electronics company. I'm a technical person. We're talking about a chip that goes into one of their products. The meeting was to be over coffee at 8:30, so I jump up, shower, dive into my suitcase, and pull the pants and shirt out that I was meant to press the night before. So I'm a fucking shambles, but get more or less covered, and head to the elevator. I feel this weird bulge in the back of my knee like there's something stuck in my pant leg, but don't have time to address it. I get off the elevator and see the folks in the lobby and stride right over. We press the flesh, get some coffees, and sit down at the lobby table and start talking technicals. So I'm deep into describing fuse burn for security keys or some shit like that, and place my right ankle on my left knee. So I'm making a number 4 kind of figure with my legs. I'm gesticulating and describing stuff and fidgeting like the proper artist I am when I must have subconsciously remembered the weird bulge in my pants leg and decide to reach up in there and grab it. So I yank it out real obviously and produce a pair of my wife's red frilly lacy panties. They just have got mixed up with my pants in the dryer or something. I freeze, look at them in my hands. Everyone stops talking, looks at them, and like 3 really long seconds go by. And I then rammed them back up my pants leg and said, "That was weird, but I do believe they are clean," and then continued to meeting.